Are you thinking about moving to Katy, Texas? You are worried about flooding? In today's video, I am going to answer a question from one of my viewers that was asking about, does it really flood in Katy, Texas? I am not an engineer. I am not a flood expert. I am not a surveyor, but because I have been living in this area, and as a realtor, we have to be knowledgeable about the area where we are selling home. So if you are new to this channel, my name is Done. I am a realtor here in the state of Texas. In this channel, it is where I talk about the good, the bad, the ugly of what it takes to live in Houston, Texas. If you are new, subscribe and follow, because I love it when I receive email, phone call from people just like you who's thinking about moving to Houston, Texas. The first way you can find out if you are living in a home that is in the flood zone for Katy, because Katy homes are typically rated to be 100 to 500 year old flood zone. If you are purchasing a property that is a resale, that homeowner is represented by an agent. As a buyer, you have your own agent, and that's the reason why I say it's very important as a consumer for you to have your own realtor. It's not going to take anything out of you. It's not going to save you money just because you do not have your own agent. Keep in mind, agent work for you. The one that represented you work for you. So the first tool, it is the seller disclosure. In 2019, the Texas legislature passed a law. Sellers are required to fill out the seller disclosure to tell you if their home has been flooded before. If you are purchasing a property that is currently sold by an investor, the investor may not know the history of the home. So typically they'll tell you in the seller disclosure they have no knowledge of any unknown defect. But if you are working with a homeowner who's represented by an agent, then your agent will contact the homeowner's agent and will get that information. And when we're looking at the seller disclosure, if for example the seller line says there was no flooding and there were a flood and there was insurance claim, when you go to purchase insurance for the home prior to closing, that insurance company will pick up the claim and they will tell you, based on the descriptions that come in, you are required to get flood insurance. If the house is not on a flood zone, but it was just a flood that happened, you don't have to get flood insurance. However, because there was a history of one-time flood, you can get flood insurance for just $520. That's what the quote was, but if it's more, talk to your insurance, because I'm not an insurance agent. So that's the first part. The second part is look in the FEMA map. So when you look in the map, there is a way you put in the property address and it will tell you if that home is on the flood zone or if it's not, if it's at risk. For homes that are in a 100-year-old flood zone, you at the 26%, but if you are on the 500, then you most likely on the 6%, and I would say you're safer. And for Harvey, when Harvey happened, this is something unprecedented that never happened in 3,000 years. So that's why that's the information that come out. Where home that never flood, the reservoirs that were overflowed, they have to let the water out. So all those homes that were close to a creek, that was close to the reservoir, that was close to the bayou, some of those homes did get water. And the people that have insurance, even though they didn't have insurance, flood insurance, the insurance cover it after deductible. But it's always good, depends on where your house is located. If you have a home that is in low in the front part of the neighborhood where the home is very low, it's best to just pay that $500 a year, get it to cover your home, because you never know, because flooded in Texas is unpredictable. So does it flood in Katy, Texas? Some of the neighborhood that get some water during Harvey, if we're looking at the statistic, it was less than 8% of home in Katy that was flooded, about like 7,200. So it's not much, but it's still considered like a pretty good amount of home, and home that were like in close to Bear Creek. So if you are purchasing a home that is in the Bear Creek market area, so I will advise you, yes, get flood insurance regardless of where you are in your neighborhood. And the Barker Reservoir also was over flood. Some of those homes that are in Fry, and where I am close, my neighborhood is close to Fry Road. I am not on a flood zone. My home did not get flood, but home that were in the entryway of my neighborhood did get some water. And we are not on a flood zone, and we did not expect it, but the water was so high there was no way to avoid it. So in general term, does it flood in Katy? Yes, it is flood. Is it at risk like other area? No, Katy is not at risk. So if you are purchasing a home in Katy, you do not have to worry about that. You can purchase your home. You do not have to worry, say, okay, I since we'll say I have to get insurance, I don't have that $500, I'm not going to look in Katy. You can get the home, and then later on, when you settle in, then you can just call your insurance and then get that extra coverage, because it's when you get extra coverage, it's always good to cover yourself. So again, guys, thank you so much for staying until at the end of this video. I appreciate you guys. I love you guys. I covered all West Houston from Fort Bend County all the way to Conway. So when we're looking at Fort Bend County, we're talking about Sugar Island, Needville, that's where my mother-in-law live, and we're talking about Mission Bend area, we're talking about Richmond, we're talking about Missouri, Katy, Cypress, and then you go north of Houston, the Woodlands, Conway, Spring, all those areas. I cover all those areas, and since I'm close to the Grand Parkway, so I just get on the Grand Parkway, so everywhere it's like 30 minutes. But if you are new to Houston, you might find it very inconvenient to drive for 30 minutes. And for those of you that have visited Houston and are thinking about moving to Houston, I will advise you to make a trip, visit Houston, find out which neighborhood is best for you before you purchase a home, because your home may not be perfect, but a perfect neighborhood makes you feel much happy. So thank you so much, guys. Feel free to subscribe, follow, and I love it when I receive email from people just like you. So continue to call me, text every time you have questions. If you are thinking about moving to Houston, Texas. Until next time, again, welcome to Houston. Bienvenue à Houston. God bless, and I love you guys. Goodbye.